This is home. WAAY 31 Hometown News starts now.
New Hampshire, I want to thank you. We love you. We're going to be back a lot. We're not going to forget you. You started it. Remember, you started it.
Democrats and progressives win when voter turnout is high.
Well, Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders both celebrating their projected wins in the New Hampshire primary. But as both sides enjoy their wins, others are considering their next move. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Justin McFarland.
And I'm Erin Dacey. Last night's win is a turnaround for Trump, who finished a disappointing second in the Iowa caucuses.
Hillary Clinton may have won New Hampshire 8 years ago, but a victory for Bernie Sanders was expected last night, and he pulled ahead in the polls.
Next up, South Carolina's primary and Nevada's caucuses. Here's Kenneth Moton live in New Hampshire.
Morning, what a night for politics. The polarizing billionaire and the self-described Democratic socialist. The outsiders had big victories here in New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Bernie Sanders victorious in New Hampshire.
We are going to make America so great again, maybe greater than ever before.
Together, we have sent the message that will echo from Wall Street to Washington.
The outsiders crushed their competition. The voters in the Granite State angry at Washington, worried about the economy and looking for honesty, not electability. Emerging from the pack of Republican governors, a surprise second-place finisher, Ohio Governor John Kasich.
If you don't have a seatbelt, go get one. We're going to shake this country from top to bottom.
The fight for third in the GOP race is between Ted Cruz.
Your victory tonight has left the Washington cartel utterly terrified.
Jeb Bush.
It looks like you all have reset the race, and for that I am really grateful.
And Marco Rubio, who admitted Saturday night's debate was his downfall.
Listen to this. That will never happen again.
A tough night for Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton, who promised supporters she's marching on to the nomination.
Now we take this campaign to the entire country. We're going to fight for every vote in every state.
Her opponent proved he won't be so easy to shake off. So today is on to the next one. South Carolina, the state's GOP primary is set for next weekend, but New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is headed back home to decide if he'll stay in this race. Reporting live here in Manchester, New Hampshire this morning, Kenneth Moton, ABC News. Back to you.
It is 3 minutes after 5 a.m. Liz Cosgrove's got details on your forecast for this really cold Wednesday.
Just want everybody to take a deep breath in and out this morning. We are good. The roadways are fine from Huntsville to the Shoals down to Coleman. The only concerns we have are the higher terrain, where we've seen the flurries continuing to fly up into Jackson and Franklin County, up into southern Tennessee. So a few snow showers on U.S. Highway 64, on State Highway 65 up near High Top. U.S. Highway 72 heading up near Chattanooga between Fackler and Bridgeport. Very icy conditions reported. State Highway 71, State Highway 40 if you're heading towards DeKalb County near Valley Head and Fort Payne. State Highway 35. Those are where we have the potential of seeing some black ice on the roadways up until about 10 o'clock this morning. But our friends out in Moton, no problem whatsoever, just very cold outside. Temperatures have dipped down to 21 degrees with a clear sky and a light breeze in place. Thank you, O'Neill, for sending in your weather report. Well, he's one of our weather watchers. And we're at 18 for Florence, 19 for Russellville, and 20 for Red Bay and Vina this morning. Seeing 20s as well for Madison, Hartselle, Coleman, and Owens Crossroads. 22 for Huntsville and Stevenson, Alabama, and 23 for Scottsboro. When you factor in the winds this morning, it makes it feel like it's into the teens. So make sure you bundle up, as high temperatures will barely make it into the mid-30s. Although we'll see plenty of sunshine, that northerly wind is the main driver in our forecast. So we stay cool even as we head into this upcoming weekend. We'll talk more about these cooling temperatures on the way in just a few minutes. Let's send it back over to Erin and Justin.
Thank you, Liz. It's 5:04. New overnight, Ferguson, Missouri could be heading towards a legal battle with the federal government. Just hours ago, the U.S. Justice Department announced it may take legal action against the city. Last night, Ferguson city officials voted to amend a settlement with the DOJ. The tentative agreement would require Ferguson to reform its police and city courts. DOJ officials say a civil rights lawsuit is possible if the department does not go along with the changes. But the Ferguson mayor says they are not asking for very much with their amendments.
I think the things that we've asked for are very reasonable. And really, substantively, I mean, the spirit of the decree is still very much intact. We're not trying to take away any safeguards. We're not trying to take away anything substantive out of the decree.
The U.S. Justice Department investigated Ferguson police after the August 2014 shooting death of Michael Brown. His death caused widespread protests and rioting in Ferguson, Missouri for several days. Officer Darren Wilson was cleared of any wrongdoing in the shooting.
Well, also new this morning, the mayor of Flint, Michigan, announcing a $55 million proposal to remove lead piping from the city's water system. It's a bid to fix the city's toxic water crisis as quickly as possible. Today, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder will ask legislators in his state for an additional $195 million to try and deal with the problem. But Governor Snyder says while he isn't quite on board with the pipe replacement yet, he isn't necessarily opposed to Mayor Weaver's plan.
It's more a question of let's do it in a organized, thoughtful, scientific and engineering correct fashion.
We can't wait for that. We don't trust that, and we deserve new pipes. I cannot imagine that he would not support this plan. If he doesn't, shame on him.
The team investigating the crisis for Michigan's Attorney General says that criminal charges should be filed or could be filed in this case. Governor Snyder is declining an invitation to testify at a congressional hearing.
A setback for President Barack Obama's efforts to stop climate change. The U.S. Supreme Court is temporarily blocking the Obama administration's plan to limit greenhouse gas emissions from power plants. Under the EPA's Clean Power Plan, states would be required to meet specific carbon emission reduction standards based on their energy consumption. But Alabama, along with more than 20 other states, are filing a federal lawsuit to challenge the Clean Power Plan. A federal appeals court will hold a hearing on that suit in June.
Well, a flight from Boston to San Diego had to make an emergency landing overnight because of a disturbance on board. The Alaskan Airlines flight was diverted to Denver, Colorado. Officials say that a passenger on the plane was drunk and being disruptive. A crew member asked the man to calm down, but they say that's when he became annoyed and verbally abusive.
He had gotten up and he was going toward the, the captain's, the fly area, and so I got up, stood in front of him and said, "You're not getting by me." And I prevented him from going any farther.
It was a little unnerving at first because he started yelling, "We're all going to die. I hope you know you're all going to die." But then we realized he was just a really drunk guy that was just out of control.
Wow, the flight continued on to San Diego after a 45-minute delay. Police are not saying if that man will face any charges.
Unbelievable surveillance video from California this morning. It shows a man's violent attacks on two bystanders. A warning, some of this video is graphic. Police in Lauderhill, Florida, say a man in a red hat walked into a gas station Sunday morning and for seemingly no reason started swinging at an elderly man. It's the woman with the 82-year-old who gets between them and fights off the attacker. Then, while paramedics are treating the elderly man for a head wound,
Sure enough, this same guy believes that he's frantically fighting.
We get a call from the swap shop about a man in the swap shop brandishing a sword and attacking one of the clerks at the swap shop.
police say it was the same guy violently swinging a sword at the store's clerk. The clerk and several people were able to pin him down until police arrived. Officers say 22-year-old Javon Walker is now facing several charges, including attempted murder. They are investigating what caused the violent attacks.
Hard video to watch. An elderly man is recovering this morning after he spent at least 4 days trapped in his outdoor vending stand. The 84-year-old somehow locked himself inside last week when he was selling newspapers in California. He was trapped until someone heard him Monday afternoon and called police. The vendor didn't have any food or water with him and survived somehow in the unseasonably high temperatures over the weekend.
From RedstoneAlabama.com, the court-martial of Sergeant Bo Bergdahl is officially on hold. A judge is issuing a stay of proceedings while an appeals court decides if classified evidence should be shared with Bergdahl's defense team. Bergdahl is accused of desertion after leaving a U.S. military base in Afghanistan in 2009. His captors released him last year in exchange for 5 Taliban detainees. Bergdahl's attorneys say jail time would be inappropriate for Bergdahl, who given his 5 years in captivity.